Alright, I'll show y'all another little trick here. 19mm socket. Notice it's just a little bit smaller than the bearing cap here. This is one of the old U-joint caps. Notice it's a little bit smaller. Here's what we're going to do. Take this, there, and what you want to do is eyeball underneath it here to see if, make sure it's centered. This goes on top of here. And bring your jack down a little bit, just put enough pressure to hold it in place for yourself. Okay, then before you get all crazy with the jack, put pressure on it. Sorry, get my big bald head up in the way. Make sure that's centered. That's good. Okay, slowly. And take your time. Don't get overzealous, because you don't want to push that cap all the way through yet. Or you don't want to at all at this point, to be honest with you. Change your camera angle on you a little bit so you can watch. See right here. Keep an eye on it. And what all you're after basically is give yourself enough clearance, enough of it going through, that here you can put your next cap coming in the top like this. So that's all you're after. You just want to press it through enough that it stays centered, but it comes up enough that you can get your next cap on. So now we're there. Let's back the pump off a little bit. That off. And I'll be right back. Alright, now we can take this cap, set it inside there. And notice that cross, when I put it in, it centered itself right up because those bearings came down. No, not come off, but the bearing cap came down over the cross, and now the cross is centered. See, hold it right here, the cross doesn't wiggle back and forth very much at all, so the cross is now centered. Alright, let's put this in place here. And if you want to, just so you ain't got to keep adjusting the jack so much, put that underneath that like that. Okay, you may have noticed the socket here. I didn't care which way I put it in, simply because I'm not pressing the cap all the way through. So if it's the bottom side, top side of the socket holding this up, it doesn't matter. What you want to make sure is centered here. And press it on through. Okay, let me change the camera angles on you here a bit. Look right inside there. You can see that gap closing up. Drop it down, see if that helps. It's okay. It popped. It's common. They'll do that. Then you just a little further. That's okay. It popped again, but it's okay. Now what we're going to do now is check and see if it's time to put our pins in. Okay, we'll set the camera down. Catch the drive shaft so I don't drop it. Alright, let me reposition. Okay, look right there. That's where that clip goes. And that's where that clip goes. This clip right here is like I can install it. So, we'll set that there. Don't need that there. Squeeze this in. There you go. Just there it goes. Go right in there. Go around it. Make sure squeeze it like this with your pliers. Make sure it's seated. And it is. Now, flip side. It might go. Let's look. Squeeze your clip. Set it in. Bump it. Alright, tell you what, I'm going to push that cap just a little bit because it's not sitting there exactly flat, so I'm just going to press it just a little bit. And remember, this is another one, this time where you don't get carried away because you're pushing against the clip on the other side. And there she goes. Squeeze it in, make sure she seats. Hear it pop. Sometimes you get a good little snap, that's when you know that range is seated real well. So there you go. That's how to put the U-joints in. I know that we got to do this end. I want to do that one real quick. But there's no need of me showing you how to do that because it's the same thing on the other end. So I'll be back with you as soon as I get this pressed in. Alright, just a moment ago I was telling you guys about the grease fittings and we're going to install them. There's the grease fitting for this type U-joint. Remember the end cap? Just kind of get it started with your fingers. Like that. Flat screwdriver. And make sure it's good and snug. You ain't got to try to get crazy with it, it's not going to come out. Good and snug. Alright, I'm going to flip this thing, put the other one in, then I'll show you how to grease it. Alright, let's give y'all a little rundown of what it takes to grease this thing. Obviously, anybody that knows what a regular Zerk fitting looks like, a regular Zerk fitting takes this end of the grease gun. The regular Zerk fitting has like a little trailer hitch ball like shape that snaps up inside this. You pump it, it injects grease into it. Obviously, this is not going to be able to snap onto that. So, here's what you got to do. Go to your auto parts store. This is over where you can buy the grease. The tubes of grease goes in your grease gun. It's a little needle. This little needle goes inside this right here. It doesn't really go inside, it just kind of presses against it. So as you pump the grease, it injects the grease down inside the cross here, inside the U-joint. So what you do is, here's the tube. And see, right, it's got a strong spring on it. Right there is what I'm calling a Zerk fitting. The little ball right there. So what happens, this goes inside there and push really hard. You feel it snap. So now it's locked on. Trust me, once it locks on, it's there. It's ridiculous hard to get off there. Put this on there, and here's the grease gun. You take and squeeze the handle here. Squeeze, it pumps the grease into the part. So press this down on it. You start squeezing and injecting grease into it. After about the third pump, you want to start watching your cups. The cups being this little black ring here, the black rubber rings. You want to start watching them because you don't want to pump too much grease into them. Well, I didn't press it hard enough. And sorry I got quiet on you. I'm watching my cups real close because they'll start to swell. Alright, we're done. It creeped up on me. Look right at the bottom. See the grease? It's coming out of the cup. And once you get that, that means all the grease inside the U-joint is now injected throughout the whole thing. So therefore you're done with that U-joint. And clean your grease from up here. And some of you may be thinking, hey, wait a minute. Where's the yoke at? This side don't take a yoke. It goes directly onto the rear differential of the Jeep. So let's grease this side up. Take this, press against it. Watch this. See that? Watch that cap. Because it's pushing grease out right there. And for the fun of it, we'll watch it come out of there. See, there it is. It's creeping out. And at that point, it should be pretty well good. But what we're going to do, once we get it installed into the Jeep, we'll pump some more grease into this right here to make sure it's good. So, I'm going to take the old one out now. Okay, before we go under the Jeep, safety first. Because we got to pull the drive shaft. That's one link that helps prevent it from rolling. We got to remove that one link. So here we go. Jack stand there. You can use any kind of wheel chocks you want to. It's totally up to you. I got one front and rear. My driveway's pretty level. It doesn't roll very much even when I kick it out of gear with no brake. But I'm going to be under it. I want it stable. Period. Emergency brake. Put the pawl to it. Lock that emergency brake in. There you go. Hey, how y'all like my door locks? See, stick a key right there. Pull the cable through. I got soft doors. It may not totally prevent them from getting stolen, but they're going to have to work for it. Anyway, safety. Right there. Emergency brake. Kick it out of gear. If it's automatic, put it neutral. Stick shift. Kick it out of gear. Put it in neutral. Wheel shocks. Keep from it rolling. Let's go under the Jeep. Okay, to remove the drive shaft, first thing you gotta do, right here, 1, 2, where's it at? 3, and there's another way over here. 4. So those are 5/16. And the best way I found to get to them. Oh, sorry. Let me get repositioned where I can. See, I've got that set up. That kind of wobbles a little bit because of the drive shaft being kind of sort of in the way. That allows that to go fully engage onto it. You don't want no partial engagement. You strip them out, you got a headache on you. You got a headache you got to deal with. So, anyways, all you got to do is take those 4 bolts out right there, which will remove these straps here, allow the drive shaft to come out. So let me get these out. And once you get the bolts out, that's what you're removing right there, is that strap. That squeezes onto the U-joint cap right there and holds it into the yoke. So again, sorry, trying to get this camera right. You guys can see what's going on. Lock it on, and I've taken, I hope you guys can see this, where I've got it positioned. See it? Push up is the way you're going to take it off. So you're taking your push upward. Okay? Alright, it's hard to do this with one hand, so I'll be right back. Alright, once you get both those straps off, you see the cap's exposed here. Once you get those straps off, you simply pull outward on it. Yours may or may not be that easy. If it is, more power to you. If it ain't, you got to put a screwdriver to it and knock it loose. Wedge it loose. Or where the yoke goes into the transfer case, just slides it out. Now, you're subject to some oil coming out of there. And I didn't. It's probably low. Alright. drive shaft's out. And so I'm going back top side, getting up underneath here. I'm going to show you the difference in the drive shafts. Okay, there's the two drive shafts side by side. This one being the one that has been in the Jeep that's given me all the problems. Pretty much identical drive shafts. Weights are a little different. You know, you got these weights versus the washers welded onto it. The reason I took mine out, the damaged one, like I showed you under the Jeep. Look right here. See this big crack? Alright, those cups, now see how they rotate? See how they rotate? Now when they're inside here, inside this, I'm sorry I keep messing the camera up for you guys. When they're inside here, they are not, I repeat, not supposed to rotate. You seen how I pressed those U-joints in, how hard they had to go in? Well, watch. Let's see. Watch that one rotate. That means this drive shaft is wore out. If it rotates inside that cup like that drive shaft's wore out, and it's a matter of time before the U-joints start turning loose. See, that one don't rotate. That's good. That's bad. Alright, come back down at this end. There is a big chunk knocked out of that one. And what happens is the drive shaft rotates. The top of it going this way, rotates this way. Well, there is that cross. Remember, that cross was pressing it in. That cross rests right inside there on that cup. So it's putting constant pressure on that cup all the time. Well, this chunk of metal here being gone, it allows this cap right here to start flexing. Eventually, the cross inside there will start busting the cup. Let me grab this U-joint. See, as it rotates like this cross right here is pressing here. Well, if that bearing cap was completely in, the bearing cap here, if it was fully supported by the yoke, it'd be no problems. But it's cracked, it's busted, and so it's not. This Jeep was treated so rough before I got it, and I've been trying to put it back together. Let's see, somewhere, yeah, watch that cup right there. It's not moving, but the yoke is. Turn back around here. See? The cap's staying still, but the yoke's moving. Flip side. Cap stays still, but the yoke is moving. Bad, 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 bad. So, there you go. There's the reason I'm changing it all out to begin with. And I mentioned earlier about the U-joints I don't like. Here. Now, this is one, the drive shaft was about to pop on me. I caught it before it snapped. And this is all I had here at the time. So I went and stuck that one in because I knew I was going to find me another drive shaft and replace it with the good U-joints. So again, I'm not a big fan of these right here, but I used it because I had it. But I would not have run it long. Right here where that hole is drilled into that cross creates a weak spot. So like I said, not a big fan. What am I going to do with this drive shaft? Very simple. This end right here, I'm going to take electric tape, wrap around these cups right here so the cups don't come off. And I'm probably just going to keep it for an extra drive shaft. No, if I'm out wheeling real hard and I hit a bunch of rocks and I tear up my drive shaft, I'll have a spare one to get me home. So, much have less to do but put the other drive shaft in. Alright, I'm going to show you what I mean by wrapping the tape around this. Your first wrap, it's not going to stick to grease, obviously. Your first wrap is put it under loose enough until you make one complete turn on the tape. But once you get that one complete turn, sorry, had a burp sneak up on me. Once you get that first complete turn, then you start stretching the tape. Stretch it around it. This will keep those caps secure so they don't come off the cross of the U-joint. And you can stick this in your Jeep, use it for a spare if you're on the trail or wherever. And just break it off. And sometimes what I'll do also, because that tape where it's stretched has a tendency of wanting to walk itself back off, you might wrap another piece of tape around it this way. sure I'm in the camera shot there for you guys. Wrap it back around this way. You ain't gonna put no heavy duty pressure on it. Daggone, I got metal stuck in my hand now. Ouch. Wrap it back around like that. Then take you a wire tie, just a little small wire tie, and wrap around that to hold that tape secure. That way that tape, because where it's stretched, you'll try to pull itself back off. Take a wire tie, put it around that part right there. It'll be secured, it won't come off. And it'll keep your caps intact, so therefore if you ever need a spare drive shaft on the trail, you got one ready to go. Pull one out, put the other one in. That's the only thing I'd use that junky thing for. Anyway, let's go put the other drive shaft back in. Alright, here's what you want to do. Before you put it in, make sure this yoke snout is clean. And I use this stuff right here. I use it for about everything. It's a good anti-seize. It sticks. It stays. It does. I mean, it just does a great job about everything I use it on. What you want to do? It's about pea size ball. Just put it around that snout right there. That's all you got to do. You don't want to put it in dry, because it'll start eating that seal up. And you can see from the bottom of the tub, all that oil that's up there, it probably needs to be changed anyway, but that's on another day. And I'll make a video of that too when I do it. But it's not going to be today. I got things I want to do. So, okay, I've got it lubed up. Time to slide the drive shaft in. Alright, that's where the drive shaft's going back in. You can see from the bottom of the tub that I'm slinging oil out of the transfer case anyway. A little bit right through here, but like I said, it's going to be a project for another day because I just don't feel like doing it right now. Alright, let's get the drive shaft in. Y'all got to bear with me on the camera craziness for a moment. Alright. You get in there, you kind of feel it. It gets kind of notchy. And you'll feel it. Those splines will lock in. Now here, okay, I rolled the Jeep back a little bit so you guys got a good shot. See this little tab right here? That tab is where your U-joint cup needs to be setting on that. So here's the reason you put it in neutral, because now you can rotate the drive shaft. If you let it gear, you cannot rotate the drive shaft. So at the beginning of the video, I showed you to knock it out of gear. So now we take it back. And the rear differential will not turn simply because it's sitting on the ground. So that's why you want to be able to rotate the drive shaft. So there you go. That's locked in like that. Now the next thing we got to do is put the straps back in. And I want to show you something on the straps real quick. Alright, here's the bolts. Remember the ones I took out? This is thread locking compound. You don't want the permanent stuff. The only thing you really want to do is put a drop, literally, right there. That's it. That's all you need. Seriously. See that little bit dallop right there? That's all you need. Put some on all four of them. Why? Well, these Jeeps are kind of prone, as when you go down the road, the vibrations. I mean, it's a big old luggage sucker. You get your big old shoes on it. I'm running 31 1050s, but I mean, they vibrate enough. Even stock tires, you get enough vibration out of these things. These bolts start backing out, start loosening up. Next thing you know, you got drive shafts slinging out of the vehicle. So trust me, this stuff right here is cheap. I mean, you probably pay $5-10 at the most for that tube, but it will last forever and save you so much grief. But do not get the permanent locking stuff. This right here is just the one that just prevents vibrations from loosening things. You don't need the positive locking. Get the blue. In other words, just get the blue. Okay, get all four bolts hands started. And I'm taking my hand, just running them in. And get your ratchet and tighten them all up. Alright, once you got the bolts run most of the way in, you want to start watching them, because there's a gap right there and right there. Take one side, turn it a little bit, come over the other side, turn that one. You want both sides to stay pretty well even. Your final torque, I mean, you want to, once they bottom out, they're probably, I don't know what torque. You might ought to look it up in your manufacturer's handbook, see what the torque spec is. But one thing you don't want to do is too tight and break them. You break them off in a yoke, you've got a serious pain in the tail in your hands to get that thing out of there. I used to have an old 440 Charger, and I've broken many of them off in there. And it wasn't because I was breaking them with my hands cranking the U-joint, tightening them up. It's because I was twisting the drive shaft out of it. 440 cubic inches built in a big black Dodge means a lot of things going to break. So, tighten them up good and snug, but not too tight. Look it up in the Jeep handbook to see what the torque specs are. I don't want to tell you something, tell you wrong, you come back and blame me for it. But nonetheless, good and tight, but not too tight. Don't twist them off. Well, there it is. Drive shaft is installed, new U-joints, and it's hard to get you guys a good view under here. Alright, remember this up here, I greased it. You remember how I did it, so we're going to grease this one back one the same way. So, let me come off underneath here. Alright, my fellow Jeepers, that's how you change U-joints in a drive shaft if you have a press. I'm sorry, I realized it was kind of a long-winded video, but I had a lot of details I like to catch to make sure that I can give you the best instructional videos that I can. I showed you why I changed. I showed you the wear that's inside the yoke, how that cup was rotating and turning, how that's a bad thing. I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys. I try to do the best I can for you. So I tell you what, if you like my videos, you know what's up. Give me a thumbs up. If you like my whole channel, subscribe. Every time I do some kind of how-to video, you will be notified via email. So, everybody, get your Jeep out, get it a little dirty. Peace out. See y'all.